Hi, I'm Ron DeParmesan, and you're watching Newscats. In a historic move, the US Department of Justice has stepped up the fight against terror, unsealing charges against 6 senior leaders of Hamas for their roles in the horrific attacks on October 7th, which tragically resulted in over 1,200 lives lost, including more than 40 American citizens. Among those charged is Yahya Sinwar, the group's political leader in Gaza, who has played a significant role in orchestrating violence targeted at Israeli civilians and foreigners alike. This legal action carries serious implications, including charges of terrorism, conspiracy to commit murder, and sanctions evasion. The Justice Department's announcement signals a firm commitment to hold those accountable for acts of terror against American interests. The 6 alleged terrorists are accused of running a decades-long campaign of violence against innocent individuals. Yahya Sinwar has cemented his position within Hamas through years of engaging in brutal tactics and has been labelled the architect of the October 7th massacre. This chilling day was marked by calculated brutality, with Hamas operatives employing vehicles, paragliders and drones to unleash terror upon unsuspecting civilians. The scope of these attacks is staggering and horrifying. A wave of violence. Initial reports describe civilians being killed in their homes, others being snatched away to become hostages, heights of brutality that haunt the collective memory of both Israelis and Americans. Just as this monumental announcement was being made, it was reported that Hamas had also murdered additional hostages, including 23-year-old Hirsch Goldberg Polin, adding urgency to the ongoing prosecution efforts. Attorney General Merrick Garland highlighted the gravity of these events, stating, "We will pursue justice relentlessly until those responsible for these heinous acts are held accountable." The October 7th attacks marked a despicable chapter in a decades-long campaign of terror against Israel and its allies, and the FBI has shown no signs of slowing down in its efforts to disrupt Hamas's operations. This legal pursuit underscores the intersection of law enforcement and national security, raising questions about the effectiveness of the United States counter-terrorism approach in a region plagued by instability. It is worth noting that similar charges have been utilized in prior cases against international terrorists, showcasing the US commitment to justice. However, the implications of these charges extend far beyond a court in New York City. The global ramifications could lead to an escalation of tensions, as cadres of Hamas may feel compelled to retaliate in response to the legal and political jeopardy facing their leaders. Clashes of this nature have historical precedents, and we may well see reactions akin to those from other ventures against supposed leaders of terror. The conflict's historical context cannot be overlooked. The October 7th attacks have been categorized as one of the most violent confrontations between Israelis and Palestinians in decades. This resurgence of violence reignites discussions surrounding long-entrenched territorial disputes and national aspirations, complicating any hope for a negotiated peace. As the wheels of justice turn, the fallout from these indictments is sure to reverberate throughout the region. Many analysts have suggested the possibility that Hamas might ramp up militant actions and strategies to showcase defiance in the face of international legal challenges. Politically, the indictment may be perceived by some factions in the region as a foreign intervention in local affairs, fueling anti-American sentiment and discouraging diplomatic progress. Families of victims and those suffering losses due to Hamas's attacks might interpret this announcement as a flicker of hope amidst a complex web of grief and anger. For those directly impacted by the violence, the pursuit of justice could signify a path toward holding perpetrators accountable, though the road ahead remains fraught with challenges. Exploring the ideological landscape of Hamas opens up a deeper understanding of their motivations. Founded in 1987, the organization emerged from the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, and its charter organized itself around militant Islamism and Palestinian nationalism. What began as a resistance movement quickly morphed into an entity intertwining socio-political governance with acts of armed conflict. Today, leading figures like Yahya Sinwar are not merely political actors but also symbols of resistance and defiance against perceived injustices. Sinwar's own history includes multiple prison sentences in Israel for involvement in violent activities, and he has continued to galvanize support within the ranks of Hamas. The complex interplay of law, politics, and international relations sits at the forefront of this ongoing narrative. An examination of the reactions from key figures in the Middle East, as well as international stakeholders, reveals a multifaceted situation. Leaders from various nations have expressed concern over the potential ramifications of the US charging Hamas leaders, with some criticizing the military-oriented approach of the US, while others cautiously support accountability measures. They fear it may provoke more violence and undermine efforts toward a ceasefire. As global eyes turn towards this case, significant scrutiny will be placed on how the US navigates its counter-terrorism strategies amid waves of regional unrest, questioning whether this will align with or hinder the broader objectives of regional peace. As we continue to unravel this story, the public interest is bound to remain high. The ongoing legal developments and their impacts on various stakeholders will likely keep analysts and audiences alike closely engaged with this multifaceted narrative. What are your thoughts on the effectiveness of these legal actions against such well-organized terrorist groups? Drop your comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to catch more of this riveting coverage on international conflicts and their resolutions in real time. Each piece of information about these heinous acts not only reveals the depth of human suffering, but also highlights the significant need for vigilance and understanding in pursuing justice. I'm Ron de Parmesan, and this has been another Newscat special report. Thank you for watching, and don't go far because another breaking story is right around the corner. Meow wow wow.